The end of an era. My wonderful little tripod from Howard Dvorsky just bit the dust and became a three-parter. Not in a good way, the normal way it breaks apart, but in a bad way. Howard, our tripod died. I'm gonna upgrade. I've been I've been shopping. It's neat that you're the first person to join today, because today is the day that the triple tree at the top just snapped as I was getting ready, and boy was I bummed, because I appreciate your gift of a tripod all the way from the time when I didn't have, and still I don't have a strong sense that I'm really a great techie. So I'm gonna be rolling glue here in just a moment, and wanted to check in with all of you today. Welcome everybody to the ongoing saga that is the unrolling of the outrolling of much glue and the pressing of as much wood as I can. I've got I'll call them narrows. They only go about 9.5 inch wide, which to me is a narrow deck. Good morning, Bryce. It's a good afternoon. I've already had wings over at the bar down the street. And anyway, so I've been pressing narrows. This is wood that is about 10.5 inch wide plys, and the boards I've got ready for House of Pawn are all on these colored plys, which I'm really happy about. I don't have a lot of colored plywood, and it does behave differently in pressing and finish. And I love observing. I mean, I've been doing this this is I'm getting to the finish of year 10. So I'm really excited about 10 years of board pressing, because there are certain things that were just speculations when I started that now I've got anecdotal understanding of. I still am not, I'm not using a whole lot of pressure sensors, or seriously, Eugene, good to see you. Frank Purcelli, good to see you here. Not using pressure sensors or highly scientific tools to measure, but I've run a few boards through at this point in my time as a board maker, and I do consider myself a board maker because I don't have any other professional aspirations, and still I'm still a small batch board maker. I make boards in batches of 5, 10, and 20. Run them through the presses over here. Some of you guys may not know, I've got 3 presses here. Still have 2 in my basement mortuary workshop at the house. My house was a funeral home, and so this is the pressing room. And anyway, the dyed plys are really interesting. They're not terribly tricky. There's not a huge amount of drama. And here's the cut room. Welcome everybody to the cut room. This is the room where boards get cut. And dyed plys are interesting, because when I work with dyed plys, I've got in this board, I think I have 3 layers of color. All of my dyed plys right now are coming out with blue tops. No, I can't guarantee that your deck comes out with a dyed ply. No, Edward, no, I didn't call you Eugene. I called Eugene Pal Eugene. And good to see you, Dave Tomaszewski, on here. And so dyed plys, they're not that big of a deal. When I was a kid, it was only that big a deal. Now it's that big of a deal. Well, anyway, irrespective of irregardless of that, I will continue to use English with or without grammar. But anyway, today's check-in is just a quick note about dyed plys. What is a dyed ply? What's the deal with dyed plys? I'm going to put you guys up on top of the drill press. That's where you're going to sit for now. Why don't you just hang out on top of the drill press, and I'll bend the drill press's light so it holds you guys. And I'm going to go like this here so I can stand back a little bit. I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is going to work. It's hitting the volume button. You may fall over. All right, hands free. So I have another clampy thing with like a bendy thing that I'm going to try for a tripod. But dyed plys. What is a dyed ply? What's the deal with it? Well, they take, okay, so if you know how a tree becomes a log, and a log becomes veneer, and I'm in a room without any loose pieces of veneer in it. And I'm sad about that because I'd like to have some in my hand to talk about. But a tree becomes a log, and the log goes to a mill, and the mill takes the log, and I'm laughing at your comments because you guys are funny. Kids, I'm trying to stay on my train of thought here. These check-ins are very precious to me, but I tell you, I don't have the head for it. So the log goes into the mill, and what they do is they stick the log in a thing like this, and they do that with it. And what they do is they do this with it, and then they drop a blade into it. And that blade moves down and cuts the leading edge off, and that rolls off and it scrolls away like toilet paper. Now, how does a log become supple enough to scroll off like toilet paper? Because you can see that the veneer is quite stiff. The way it is look, I'm not a mill expert, but from what I've observed and what I've talked about with folks in the industry, they put the log in a solution of hot liquid. They heat it up and they make it really wet and hot. Now, I'm not sure I'm exactly correct about that, and it's fine with me if somebody knows different. Maybe they do it differently different places, but it's very supple when it rolls off of there. And that wet, supple wood goes to, oh my gosh, I'm reading your comments, and Chris Gurley just said something funny too. All right, so that wet stuff goes into the kiln, and it dries. And so once the wood is dried, and they've got 0.07% humidity, 3% humidity, and when I started making boards, I was obsessed with getting humidities right. And the more questions I asked, the more answers I got. And the more answers I got, the more discrepancies I saw, and I had to get honest and just start making boards without any confidence that I could control my ambient humidity beyond 30, 50%, like that, which is like way higher than anything they said. Well, they put it through a kiln once it's cut in veneers, and they dry it out really dry. But in order to get a dyed ply, they take that dried material and they put it back in a bath with a whole bunch of dye. So what is dye? Dye is, of course, water. It's a solution, so it's water and pigment. And pigment usually comes in a powder or a concentrated solution. And pigment is particulate matter that is small enough to permeate and remain among the fibers of the wood. And so they stick this, it's been rolled and cut, dried in a kiln, and then stuck in a bath of pigment. And the pigment permeates the fibers and stays in there, and it dyes it. And pigment is particulate in nature usually. And oh my gosh, Chris Gurley, what is it, Dr. Seuss? You're quoting at me today. So the pigment stays in the wood, and then they take it out of the bath. Now that bath can be heated. It can also be under pressure. Some people are dyeing boards with Kool-Aid. I have a plan to do some staining, not dyeing. So the difference between staining and dyeing is a stain is only on the surface of a ply, whereas dye permeates all the way through a ply. Do you guys hear Rocco right now? He's crying. The workshop is too cold for him. It's not cold in here. It's 60 degrees. Maybe he has to pee or poop. I'm going to let him in the backyard. And I only wanted to, hey guys, is it Ren and Stimpy? I don't know anything about anything, you guys. All right, well, Ren and Stimpy, my dude, says Eugene Powell. I'm having a great time over here with you guys. So you pull it out of the dye. So sometimes the dye is heated, sometimes it's under pressure, and sometimes it's just sitting in there for a day or two. None of my business, really. Oops, this is my business. But nobody's teaching us how to dye plys. What I see is they tell you have to have a pressurized vat, and those vats are big. I don't think it's true, because I know folks have dyed plys with nothing but Kool-Aid by leaving them in. But what do you do after it's in that dye bath? Didn't you take didn't you take it and cure it in a kiln in order to get it to the right temperature? What do you do after the vat? Well, I've seen photo proof, which I don't have, so again, this would be an opinion of what I remember seeing. I've seen them air drying. See, you're telling me that a dyed ply is like super science when they kiln dry it, and it's all this super science, and then you stick it in a vat. Sorry guys, I had to decline a call, which I want to take, but I can't. Love to you, Nate. So now I've got a low battery warning. Okay. So you're gonna stick it in a vat, and then you have to kiln. I had to decline the same caller. No disrespect. If you guys are trying to call me, I get back within 24 hours usually. And if I've missed your call and haven't gotten back in 24 hours, it's because you need to call me again, because this up here is busy. Long and short, what I'm saying is, I find the dyed plys to have a different cure property to them often. Now, this can also be because they're more or less prone to absorb ambient moisture. I don't know. But what I do know is when I press boards with dyed plys, especially if I put 3 out of 7. Hi, Rocco. Guys, you need to see this. He's so sad. Look how sad he is. He's so sad. What's wrong, Rock? What's wrong? Guys, you want to know what happened last night? Rocco was playing with Annie. You guys will meet Annie later on. And Annie is an unspayed female. And she got really pissy, and she tore up his ear, man. Something fierce. Look at that. Look at that, guys. She tore his ear up real bad. And so I'm letting that cure a little bit. And then it's going to get, I cleaned it already, and we hydrogen peroxided it and all. But yeah, I am easily distracted. But how can you not be distracted when you got this in your workshop? My goodness, look at him. Look how sweet Rocco is. But I mean, talk about easily distracted. Do you guys see this crazy workflow? I got phone calls coming in, and it's just me in here. I'm all alone in this workshop. How are you supposed to be right in the head when you have this much alone time? So anyway, long and short with this veneer thing, that's all I want to talk about. I have one goal, talk about veneer. You get to see Rocco and who knows what else before it's over with. But when I make boards with dyed plys, I find that they can be a little clunkier, a little heavier, a little thicker sometimes. I just think the property of dyed plys is sometimes a bit of a gamble. You know what I bet would make them lighter is if we ran them through a sander before we laid them up, thinned out all the plys. It would save on diesel fuel and shipping, and it would make sure that the mass production factory glue machine gets a good first try swap on it, because you know they're not going to patch in where it went too light or spread out where it went too heavy. Good old factory production always got your back, doesn't it? So long and short, dyed plys, I like them. If I could use dyed plys more often, I would, but they have different properties, and they're kind of all over the place with some of their curing properties. I do not have greater numbers of warps when I do dyed plys, but I have gotten boards out that are distinctly heavy. In fact, one of them I keep around. This board was a mystery for, I keep it around and it's up on the wall really high. But, oh, cool. Oh, nice. I got good news on my message feed. I got a nice plump order of boards that someone's ordered up. I better hump. So anyway, yeah, Luke Coffey rode one of my dyed plied boards. I made blue tops and bottoms and stuff for a long time. Oh yeah, dyed plies are a little more expensive. I bought them through, hey, all the secrets are on the table as far as I'm concerned. But I bought dyed plies through York North, and the shipping is murder. But the price per square inch is really reasonable. I have found similar pricing without the murder shipping by picking up from Marwood in Indiana. There's also an outfit called Dimension, whom I've not used yet. They're out of oh, I don't know, somewhere up in Ohio, in Northwest Ohio. And anyways, so this is Monday check-in from the workshop. And oh, let's see. Question: who can wear more hats at once, Lou or Jason Jesse? That is simply a moot question, because not only can Jason Jesse wear more hats at once, he can wear them well and do a proper frontside ollie with them on. I cannot. So I'll give that one to Jason Jesse. What is this, an Ask Me Anything on Reddit? So thanks for joining me here in the workshop for just a minute. I've got a heck of a lot of things to do. I was going to roll glue with you guys, but that my tripod broken. My next tripod thing is over at my house right now. So I'm going to go get into it and listen to some podcast about something while I do it. But everybody, I hope that, what do you say? I hope that the road rises to meet you. Cheers, everyone, and I hope that your day is pleasant and peaceful, and I hope that you do something today to just really twist a shiv in corporate skateboarding, because that's how I feel. Much love, everyone. Bye-bye.